Mjolnir builds in general. Okay, so Mjolnir builds in general. So you use this item right here, Mjolnir Gavel. Okay, I have a legacy one. You can play this build perfectly fine without a legacy one. It's not really going to matter. Okay, so what Mjolnir does, the key thing on it is you see that line, 50% chance to cast socketed lightning spells on hit. So the goal is you spam out a lot of hits quickly, and you trigger the Mjolnir. On a non-legacy one, that's 30%. The thing is, that's the only roll that matters. You'll also notice that it has a very high strength and intelligence requirement. So you're going to need to make sure you have enough stats in your tree and your gear to be able to meet that. Okay, so in my Mjolnir, I have socketed Discharge, Iron Will, and Arc. Okay, I'll explain why Iron Will in a bit, and I'll kind of demonstrate the other options for what you can use. Okay, so this is one of the key items. The other items that you're going to need for my particular variant of the build, if you want to play crit, I would highly recommend using a certain amulet. You can play this build as a non-crit version without it. So the other key core pieces of gear, you need Romira's Banquet. So what this item does, it gives you that accuracy, which is really nice because this build is not Resolute Technique. Okay, so the key thing here is we gain a power charge on a non-critical strike. So our basic attack has a very low chance to crit. Okay, the base chance is only 5%, and then we lose all our power charges on a critical strike. So the goal is we want our spells to crit. So our attacks will gain charges, our non-crit spells will gain charges, and I use 4 Surgeon's Flasks. So as I crit very rapidly, I recover a whole bunch of life. Well, I recover flash charges extremely quickly. So that's the big important thing about crit. Now the other important thing, especially if you're doing a crit variant, is you really need this particular amulet. Okay, this is Vault's Devotion. Vault's Devotion is acquirable now through divination cards that you can farm in the Dried Lake. But you don't absolutely need this. You can play a non-crit variant without it. But the key thing about this is, sure, it gives you some life and some stats and some all-res, but you gain an endurance charge whenever a power charge expires or is consumed. So whenever our discharge eats all of our charges, we get a power charge for every... we get an endurance charge for every power charge we expended. And that also happens if we crit and we have a bunch of power charges. Well, they all get caught by the endurance charge mechanic. Okay? So the rest of my gear here, you have 2 key options for your chest. You can either use Lightning Coil. This is a Legacy Lightning Coil that I have that's a 5-link. This is the more defensive option. If you're doing like super high level maps and you really don't want to die, I highly recommend using Lightning Coil, and you will replace the Iron Will in your Mjolnir with Life Leech just to get more life recovery. The thing is, I'm currently using a Kingsguard. So Kingsguard is a really cool item. It doesn't do that much for non-Mjolnir builds, but the key thing here, it gives us some nice life and mana, but it gives us 100 life whenever an endurance charge expires or is consumed. So when I'm just discharging rapidly, don't take that in the wrong way, then I just gain life back very quickly. So when you're using this chest, this provides all the sustain you need, so you can use Iron Will and essentially get... This gem gives me something like over 120% spell damage. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay? So those are all the key uniques. I would highly recommend either Kingsguard or Lightning Coil for your chest. And then other uniques I use a Wrathpith Globe. It's skinned with a Rise of the Phoenix because I think it's just like one of the coolest looking shields in the game. This shield is very good because it gives you spell damage, it gives you some spell block, and it gives you max life. You can really use any good shield you want. It could even be a rare. I highly recommend this one though. And I use a Sapphire's Frame for Atziri just to give me more max resist and some spell block. And within here, I run Herald Thunder. This is an option you can use. Tempest Shield, this is a utility skill, and Arctic Armor. So the thing is, when you're using the Lightning Coil, as you can see, I have 2 auras up right now. So the aura you should be running all the time is Wrath. So Wrath makes you deal 21% more lightning damage with spells. This is like it's a 20% increase in DPS for Arc, and a fairly high DPS increase for your Discharge as well. So you're always going to be wanting to run Wrath, okay? But if you're running your Lightning Coil, I highly recommend your second aura be Purity of Lightning. Also, if you're running at 0, you can also just do Period of Lightning, Period of Fire, that kind of thing. But when you're using Kingsguard, you don't need the Period of Lightning so much when you're just kind of running around. So I run Arctic Armor for more physical damage reduction. You can also run something like Herald of Thunder, or Period of Fire, or Vitality. Something like that's quite good. I'm going to talk about the trigger skill now. So on your chest, I use primarily Molten Strike to trigger it. So I use level 4 because that's the highest level you can have it without increasing the mana cost. And then I have this linked with Fortify, which Fortify buff is pretty darn OP. It gives you 20% damage reduction against all sources. So this makes you pretty tanky. With Multi-Strikes, you attack quickly. And then faster attacks, you attack more quickly. And GMP to fire off more projectiles. Also in here I have socketed my Blood Rage. It's another support skill. This gives you attack speed. And the key thing here is attack speed and frenzy charges gives you more DPS. Gloves, I have a okay pair of armor evasion gloves here with life, evasion, or some armor resist, and some attack speed. This runs my cast when damage taken, linked with increased duration, immortal call, and elemental weakness. So the key thing here is you have endurance charges pretty much all the time, and even though this isn't as OP as it was in 1.3, it's still really good. And you can get a pretty darn high amount of endurance charges, and pretty good immortal call uptime. And this is my belt. This is what I found. It has really high strength, which is great for being able to run the Mjolnir. It's got armor, life, and good resist on it. I couldn't ask for better. I use a rare ring with life and resist and accuracy and some magic find. And then I have an okay-ish pair of rare boots that runs my leap slam, faster attacks, fortify. So pretty much when I hit things with my skills, I fortify. And a summon Chaos Golem, because extra physical reduction is nice, and he also benefits from fortify and the faster attacks. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of options for this build. You are very tanky. As you can see, I have, other things I run. My helmet. This is a helmet I self-crafted. It's got high life, good resist, some strength, and good armor. And also in here, in the red slots, you see Reckoning and Vengeance. So the thing is, counterattacks count as weapon hits, so they will give you charges with Ramirez and can actually proc the Mjolnir. So like, let's say you get frozen, you do a counterattack, the Mjolnir can go off and kill the people that are attacking you. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put the Lightning Coil back in the stash. And I'll put the Life Leech Gem back on my leveling stuff. Now, another key thing here, this build doesn't need any jewels. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and pop that guy out. Here comes Mr. Chaos Golem. Alright, so, some key things from the passive tree. Alright, so here's my passive tree. As you can see, I'm a Marauder. I have 451 strength, 311 intelligence, and 167 dexterity. So basically we have a pretty high focus on life, regen, and accuracy, because we actually need accuracy because we're not using Resolute Technique. We get attack speed. I needed the stats here. We drop down here for this very powerful Golem's Blood node and the extra endurance charge. Art of the Gladiator for attack speed, life, regeneration, increased duration of skills. We loop around here for spell crit, life, power charge, life, elemental damage, area of effect, spell damage, and attack speed, accuracy, life, regeneration and armor. Then over here into the witch tree, we got some elemental damage with spells, spell crit, life, mana, and intelligence. The intelligence is actually needed. We have these flask effect nodes. We got more AoE, some more intelligence, and then some more life. In the future, I plan on getting, I'm just going to be getting more life nodes. It's all this character really needs is more life. For terms of stats, when you're wearing Kingsguard, you don't really have that high armor. When you have the Lightning Coil, your physical reduction is much, much, much better. Yeah, this character can pretty easily run 78 maps and stuff like that, and do it Zeri and that kind of thing. And yeah, so I have two key support skills. I have Blood Rage. The amount of regen we have, it'll tick down the shields, and then it won't really do anything to our life pool. And then I have Tempest Shield. Yeah. So about does it for the general coverage of just the tree and the gear and that kind of stuff.
How may I
I'll run my Zana here.
I have another tract of Rayquaza.
Alright.
This way, Exile. If you're at this point,
Find the Lone Stones in the dungeon. Okay, so this should not be very difficult at all. The dungeon boss is kind of a pushover for this character. We'll just pretty much annihilate him almost well, not instantly, but he doesn't have the damage to be able to do anything to us. Alright, animals and turbo. As you can see, I use Leap 7 to move around. Gotta watch your buff times. I have a little bit of lag since I'm streaming, so don't mind that. The stream... Oh, wow. Okay, those guys got bugged. As you can see, pretty much things just get wiped almost instantly. And again, we are suffering a little bit of lag, but it's okay. The lag will help demonstrate how tanky the character is. It's a level 73 map, so it's not that high. So Zona doesn't give that high maps anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. But I just want to demonstrate the concept. This is a very hard build to stream because of the amount of lag that graphical lag the build inherently produces, and I pretty much have no problems when I'm running this build just without streaming. We summon. Alright, so let's go ahead and clear the north of the map before we head down south. Oh, poor Chaos Golem. You can see we can still get fairly long immortal calls. And the Leap Slam discharges frequently kill everything. But here's the boss room. I guess we'll just go clear it now. Alright, boss is down. We dropped a Temple and a Phantasmagoria. Interesting, I've never ran Phantasmagoria. We might run it for fun. But yeah, as you can see, pretty much the discharge has just healed me almost instantly from the hits that I did take. Just because of the sheer amount of life that I recover from being able to run Kingsguard. I honestly do not know the DPS of my character. I just know it's very high. This character was able to do things like clear I was able to clear a certain unique map. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. It's one where Oba's Cursed Trove in pretty much about half the required time. Was pretty easy. As you can see, the Leap with the single cast nearly one-shot entire pack there. There, we got a nice crit. You can see one swing is enough to take care of even the most powerful of people. Alright, we found all the lodestones. Come back here, you deadly devourer. Okay, there was 2 devourer packs there. Interesting. Be gone, foul apparition. Quickly now, use the flask of running really fast. Alright, so I think we're just about done with the map. We just need to clear out this area over here. The fractured guys just disappeared almost instantly. Alright, so this should be one of the last rooms. Alright, cool. Alright, so that'll do it for the initial guide video. If you have any questions about the build, what you need, how to level, that kind of thing, just post on my thread and we can talk about it.
A treacherous landscape there.
Alright, cool.